Legends of the Gods. The destruction of mankind. His Majesty have become old. His bones have turned into silver, his flesh into gold, and his hair into real lapis lazuli. Speak, for we are listening. Tell me what you would do. Consider the matter, invent a plan for me, and I will not slay them until I have heard what you shall say concerning this thing. Nu replied, You, O my son Ra, are greater than the God who made you. You are the king of those who were created with you. Your throne is established, and the fear of you is great. Let Uri Hetharu attack those who blaspheme you. And Ra said, Lo, they have fled to the mountains, for their hearts are afraid because of what they have said. The gods replied, Let Uri go forth and destroy those who blasphemed you, for no eye can resist you when it goes forth in the form of Hetharu. Thereupon the eye of Ra, or Hetharu, went in pursuit of the blasphemers in the mountains, and slew them all. On her return Ra welcomed her, and the goddess said that the work of vanquishing men was dear to her heart. Ra then said that he would be the master of men as their king, and that he would destroy them. For 3 nights the goddess Hetharu Sekhmet waded about in the blood of men, the slaughter beginning at Hensu. Then the Majesty of Ra ordered that messengers should be sent to Abu, a town at the foot of the first cataract, to fetch mandrakes, and when they were brought, he gave them to the god Sekti to crush. When the women slaves were bruising grain for making beer, the crushed mandrakes were placed in the vessels that were to hold the beer, together with some of the blood of those who had been slain by Hetharu. The beer was then made, and 7,000 vessels were filled with it. When Ra saw the beer, he ordered it to be taken to the scene of slaughter and poured out on the meadows of the 4 quarters of heaven. The object of putting mandrakes in the beer was to make those who drank fall asleep quickly, and when the goddess Hetharu came and drank the beer mixed with blood and mandrakes, she became very merry, and the sleepy stage of drunkenness coming on her, she forgot all about men, and slew no more. At every festival of Hetharu ever after a sleepy beer was made, and it was drunk by those who celebrated the feast. Now, although the blasphemers of Ra had been put to death, the heart of the god was not satisfied, and he complained to the gods that he was struck down with the pain of the fire of sickness. He said, My heart is weary because I have to live with men. I have slain some of them, but worthless men still live, and I did not slay as many as I should have done considering my power. To this the gods replied, Trouble not about your lack of action, for your power is in proportion to your will. The goddess Nut took the form of a cow, and that the other gods lifted Ra on to her back. When men saw that Ra was leaving the earth, they repened of their murmurings, and the next morning they went out with bows and arrows to fight the enemies of Sun God. As a reward for this, Ra forgave those men their former blasphemies, but persisted in his intention of retiring from the earth. He ascended into the heights of heaven, being still on the back of the cow goddess Nut, and he created there Sekhet-hetep and Seketaru as houses for the blessed, and the flowers that blossomed in that place he turned into stars. He also created the millions of beings who lived there in order that they might praise him. The height to which Ra had ascended was now so great that the legs of the cow goddess on which he was enthroned trembled, and to give her strength he ordained that Nut should be held up in her position by the Godhead and upraised arms of the god Shu. Therefore, we see pictures of the body of Nut being supported by Shu. The legs of the cow goddess were supported by the various gods, and therefore the seat of the throne of Ra became stable. When this was done, Ra caused the earth god Geb to be summoned to his presence, and when he came, He spoke to him about the venomous reptiles that lived in the earth and were hostile to him. Then turning to Jehuti, he bade him to prepare a series of spells and words of power, which would enable those who knew them to overcome snakes and serpents and deadly reptiles of all kinds. Jehuti did so, and the spells which he wrote under the direction of Ra served as a protection of the servants of Ra ever after, and secured for them the help of Geb, who became sole lord of all the beings that lived and moved on and, in his body, the earth. Before finally relinquishing his active rule on earth, Ra summoned Jehuti and told him of his desire to create a light soul in the Duat and in the land of the caves. Over this region he appointed Jehuti to rule, and he ordered him to keep a register of those who were there, and to mete out just punishments to them. In fact, Jehuti was to be ever after the representative of Ra in the other world.